Shaurya, Shaurya, have a seat, Shaurya.
Yes, sir.
Have a seat. Yes, so, Shaurya, as I can see that you are from Hardoi,
Yes.
okay, Uttar Pradesh, and I can see that you have taken mathematics as your optional.
Yes, sir.
All right, and then of course you have done your BTech in biological sciences and bioengineering,
Yes, sir.
and then you have appeared at Indian Forest Service many a
Yes.
time, and okay, and besides that, as I can see that you have also you are fond of playing cricket
Yes, sir.
and listening to audio books
Yes.
and diary writing. Mhm. And merit come means scholarship for 3 consecutive years by IIT Kanpur, Secretary of Fine Arts Club, IIT Kanpur, and you have you have given your cadre preference as Zone 2, which comprises of Uttar Pradesh, both for IPS and IAS. Both, yeah. And your order of preference of service is IAS, IFS, and IPS. Okay. So let me now start with Uttar Pradesh itself. Love jihad. What's your view about it? Good, bad, pros, cons, should have been done, should not have been done. What is it trying to do with this particular public policy of love jihad?
Sir, in a country as diverse as India, I think interfaith marriages must be celebrated. People must be protected, and there are elements who are trying to politicize the issues, and I think those must be checked. At the same time, rights of the women must also be protected.
So, are you in favor or you are against love jihad, that act which was brought out?
Sir, I have come across quite a lot of articles that have said that love jihad is not as prevalent as the popular media might suggest.
Okay.
So, in general, I am in favor of interfaith couples because it is their right, their freedom,
Uh-huh.
and I think the personal issues must not be politicized, and it is up to the court to take the final judgment in the individual cases.
Okay. Now, tell me, uh, in this Russia-Ukraine conflict, should or could or can India play the role of a mediator? Should, could, or can?
Sir, India should play the role of a mediator because under Article 51, we must promote international peace. To the question of could, India certainly could play a role because India has good relations with both Ukraine and Russia. Besides, we also have good relations with EU and United States.
But do you think it will be possible to reconcile? One man's food will be another man's poison. So ultimately, it may result into alienating both of them. So do you think it will be a wise step to go in for mediation if an opportunity is given?
Sir, mediation can happen when both parties are agreeing.
Oh.
And at this point, Russia-Ukraine war is reaching a stalemate. So a mediation is something that both will be looking, and India can act as a host neutral country for those mediation talks.
So you think that India's stature will rise in the international arena if it takes the responsibility of mediation?
Yes.
You think so? Now, in different parts of the country, we have been witnessing farmer suicides. Can you give me a few reasons why the farmer suicides are taking place?
Sir, the first reason is since the end of the Green Revolution in mid-90s, agriculture sector has been in a state of persistent distress. Second issue is water. So we see a lot of farmer suicides in Gujarat and Telangana. They are relatively rich state, yet we see a lot of suicides there because water is scarce in those areas. And the third reason is climate change. There are that is making monsoon more and more irregular, and because of that, crops are failing.
So let's talk about. You said climate change.
Mhm.
What are the other things you mentioned?
Persistent agricultural distress and water.
And water. Anything else? Debt, alcohol, family problems.
Sir, that is in the agricultural distress.
Hmm.
The average farmland size is very small, and it is no longer feasible for a small or medium scale farmer to raise a family of 5 on a single piece of land. That pushes them in a debt trap, and that is also a big issue.
Okay, so let me ask you a slightly controversial question. We are now seeing too much of intolerance as it is made out to be in this country. Now we have a university, since you belong to Uttar Pradesh, we have a university called Banaras Hindu University, which is named after, the word is Hindu, Banaras Hindu, and we have an Aligarh Muslim University named after Muslims. And there are many universities named after languages, Punjabi University and so on. Now, do you think a time has come in this country that we should rise above caste politics, religion politics, if we want that the country should be united and should project a unified view comprising of all religions who should live in harmony?
Yes, sir.
Do you think that the names of the religion should be avoided from the names of the university, because everyone can get education there?
Sir, these universities also have a very rich heritage. So probably a better idea would be not creating new universities based on religious names, but we have to take into account the service that these universities have also provided. And these universities act as a symbol where a university with the name Hindu, a university with the name Muslim has contributed quite a lot to India, and hence all the religions can do the same.
Okay, my last question to you would be, do you think India would ever become a safe place for women? Because the kind of atrocities, attacks on women are rising. So do you think it will ever become a safe place? And particularly the fact that we are very religious people, and for everything we go to the goddesses to ask for that. For money, we go to Lakshmi ji. For power, we go to Durga ji. And for education, we go to Saraswati. They are all three goddesses. And yet the goddess in the, who is going on the streets, we try to, attack them. So isn't there a contradiction? And do you think a situation will come that we will be able to protect the women in this country?
So certainly, such situation.
How? You are the superintendent of police. How will you do that?
So the first thing would be enforcement of the laws that are there. Second would be open hotlines, communicate, receive the complaints and act on them properly. Third would be make engage communities, engage civil societies. And fourth would be, in my opinion,
Technology in any way? Can it come to help?
yes, sir, identifying the hotspots where particular kind of crimes are happening against women, and then using CCTVs, drones to monitor those areas.
Okay, Nakpalji.
Very interesting. Good, thoughtful responses. These two universities that you were referring to, under the name of Hindu and Muslim, they are open to, all sections of society, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
They are?
Sir, as far as I know, they are.
You are not sure?
Sir, they are.
They are.
Yes, sir.
Yes, they are. Of course.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that is a very positive point about them, which you didn't cover. Uh, but are there any reservations for the concerned communities there, or there are no reservations?
Uh, Sir, recently there have been news of conflicts in BHU, so there certainly are some reservations. And I think the outsider elements that come into the universities and disturb the atmosphere, those must be
Reservations for the reservations in in admissions.
Sir, as far as I know, there are reservations in the AMU, if I'm correct.
Okay. Your name is very interesting. If you were to write it in Hindi, how would you write it?
Surya Man Patel.
Which sir?
Sa for Sainik.
Sa-
Sa as in Sainik.
Sainik.
Yes, sir.
So this is Surya.
Yes, sir. Surya Man Patel.
Means what?
Surya means courage, Man means heart.
Shaurya.
Yes, sir.
ये तो
This
शौर्य
is
होता है,
SA.
हाँ?
Is it SH or SA?
Sir, our cheek muscles are such that we cannot pronunciate SH. So that is why SA. Because this is how we pronunciate.
I think that regional
Yes, sir.
influence,
Yes, sir.
language,
Abranch.
pronunciation.
Yes, sir.
Cricket, interest in cricket. You play cricket regularly.
Yes, sir.
Why is it that the women cricket is not inviting as much attention and interest?
Sir, the biggest reason has been that BCCI has not invested in women's IPL, and because of that, our player pool is very small, and we India watch cricket with a certain sense of patriotism, and women's cricket team consistently loses to quite a lot of teams, so that damages the support for women's cricket. Besides, sir, I have observed that women's cricket is low scoring. I think for that there should be some sort of mechanical doping. We could try new kind of bats that would attract more crowd to the women's cricket.
Mhm. You tried for forest service
Yes, sir.
exam also.
Yes,
So, but you didn't qualify.
sir. This year I qualified.
You qualified,
Yes, sir.
and you went for the interview also.
Sir, that will be after in the June, sir.
Oh, that's very good.
Yes.
There is a news, current news, that in Himachal Pradesh, the forest fire has already kind of started, and which they think it's too early. The incidents,
Mhm.
season-wise, it's too early.
Mhm.
What do you think would be the reason for that?
So the first reason is climate change. The general surface temperatures are increasing, and the second
Climate
reason,
change means what?
average surface temperature is increasing. That is why we are seeing heat waves. And the next reason is there is a distinct lack of pre-monsoon showers. Because of that, there is too much biomass.
But Himachal is a cooler climate,
Yes, sir.
so isn't it a protective factor?
Sorry, sir.
Is it not a protective factor?
Protect-
It's not a kind of protection against fire. It's basically the excessive heat.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
But Himachal Pradesh generally is a cooler place.
Yes, sir.
So how is it that more forest fires are taking place?
So these are only three reasons that I have came across, but there could be some human elements also involved too.
Mhm.
For example, in Amazon, we have seen much increase in intensity of fires
Yeah.
because humans are losing jobs and they are more desperate, so they are creating fields for themselves. So that could be one reason.
Mhm. Okay, my last question is,
Yes, sir.
Chief Minister Himachal Pradesh
Mhm.
recently said
Mhm.
that we are ready with the Uniform Civil Code.
Mhm.
So what does that mean? Ready means what? He's waiting for instructions from the center, or firstly, what does he mean by that? And secondly, can a state go on its own and legislate and implement that?
Uh, Sir, I'm not sure if a state can do it on its own. Uh, Besides, sir, I'm also not sure what he meant by saying that we are ready. Because if we are ready, then we have to have some sort of draft law, and then we have to build consensus around it.
No, but you are not aware of this, means you are not following on. Your state is very proactive on this subject. What is the progress there?
Sir, I'm not sure any genuine step has been taken toward uniform civil code in UP.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Surya Man, you've written that in your hobbies, listening to audiobooks.
Yes, sir.
So, just give me a sense. Is it better to read a book than to listen to it? Or is it better to listen to a book than reading it? What is the difference between the two ways of approaching the subject of reading or knowledge?
Sir, I find listening to more engaging. because-
Listening?
Yes, sir. Because narrator brings his own humor, his own way of speaking, and if you are reading quite a lot, then after a certain point it can become monotonous.
Okay.
So yes, sir, that is the reason.
That's the reason.
Yes, sir.
Okay. There are no permanent friends or permanent enemies in international relations. There are only permanent interests. In view of this statement, how do you view the Indian foreign policy?
Sir, Indian foreign policy has been very consistent. Whenever there are international wars, we have called for peaceful resolution. We have called for cessation of hostilities. And
No, emphasis on friends becoming enemy and enemy becoming friends. Has Indian foreign policy come across this challenge?
certainly, sir. In 1974, USA sent aircraft carrier groups to check our army.
Which fleet was that?
Uh,
7th Fleet.
yes, sir.
Okay.
And after that, in the 90s, we also started to build closer and closer relations with the United States. But at the same time, we did not let our relations with Russia collapse. So we are making sure that we are having good relations with all the countries as much as possible.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you feel that our relations with Russia now have cooled off in view of the new Pakistan, China, and Russia alliance?
Yes, sir.
It has.
Yes, sir.
And how do you anticipate it is going to pan out in future?
So the first will be the effect of Russia-Ukraine war.
Okay.
Currently, India-Russia mostly had one dimension, that is defense.
Okay.
On the other areas, we do not have that much collaboration. And after Russia-Ukraine war, the poor performance of Russian military hardware, we would be looking to diversify away. And Russia would go much more closer to China because
As a junior partner.
Yes, sir. And that would also affect our relations with Russia.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Shaurya, you have studied mathematics for civil service examinations. Huh? How will you utilize your knowledge of mathematics in civil service?
Sir, in areas like social policies, fields of mathematics like differential equation can come handy. But sir, for areas like modern algebra, I do not see a one-to-one application that could come handy in the civil services.
Is it useful in the formulation of public policy by the government? No.
Yes, it's certainly differential equations will come handy, sir.
Okay, okay. You have heard about the scheme called Manrega.
Yes, sir.
What does it? What is the full form of this scheme?
Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme.
Rural employment.
Yes, sir.
Everybody is talking about rural employment, but nobody talks about urban employment. Don't you think that we should also have a scheme for the urban unemployed?
Sir, in my opinion, it would be better if we have some sort of universal safety nets. So we could give some benefits to unemployed. But let us say if we try to create some equivalent of MG Narega in the urban areas, then the question would be, where are we going to employ those people? Because MG Narega, Gram Sabhas have quite a lot of land, they have quite a lot of things that they can do, but that is not the same with urban bodies.
Okay. Are you aware of the disintegration of joint family system in our country?
Yes, sir.
You are aware of that?
Yes, sir.
Attachment relationships between parents and their children, grown-up children, adult children. So, what is its impact on the senior citizens who are their parents and they are also senior citizens? What are their problems? Has government taken any steps to alleviate their sufferings?
So government has some programs on pension. There is a reverse mortgage scheme. There are certainly some schemes, but overall they do not have anybody to take care of them, because if they are in villages, then their children are leaving to cities, and if they are in the cities, then very routinely they face isolation, because there are very few people of their age to talk to.
So, government is not taking any action?
Uh,
Is that all?
So there was a recent law that provided for that provided that children should give a certain amount to the parent, but I'm struggling to recollect the name of that law.
One last question. We are all citizens and we are proud to be citizens of a secular country called India. Such being the situation, do you think that it is appropriate on the part of head of states or head of government at the center and states in India to participate in spiritual functions, religious functions, pujas, rituals? Is it appropriate? Because state has no religion. Do you consider it appropriate behavior?
Sir, it would be fair if their actions are consistent, in the sense that all the religions are treated fairly, because religion in itself is also social good. It can be a force for social good. So if they treat all the religions fairly, if they are attending all the religions, then I think that is fine.
Okay, so you don't approve of this practice?
Sir, if there is only one religion that is being supported by the state while others are being alienated, I do not support them, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Since you are from Uttar Pradesh, there is a very famous saying that road to Delhi passes from Lucknow. How do you see this statement?
Sir, UP has 80 Lok Sabha seats. Whoever wins those seats controls the Delhi.
So you think that the political significance of India above Tropic of Cancer is more than political significance of India below Tropic of Cancer?
So the whole country is significant, but if we see that, then probably the population above Tropic of Cancer is much more than below Tropic of Cancer. That is how parliamentary democracy functions. But it is the responsibility of the government to build consensus to as much degree as possible.
Then why is it seen that national parties above Tropic of Cancer, they are able to capture states more politically, whereas below Tropic of Cancer we see that more regional parties are contributing to Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha?
Sir, it probably has to do with a shared language in the northern part, while the states in the southern region have different languages. So that language could be acting as a conduit that allows parties to capture multiple states in the northern India.
Does that mean that the central government is representative of only region above Tropic of Cancer?
No. Central government is represented by all the Indians, all the states.
Okay. You have read Hindi in class 10th as well as in class 12th,
Yes, sir.
but English is your preferred language in the current examination process.
Mhm.
What is the constitutional position with regards to Hindi and English? What does our constitution say as of today about these two languages? And also, please supplement it with what national education policy has to say with it. So, two parts. First, what constitution has to say about it. Second, what national education policy has to say about it.
So constitution says that promotion of Hindi language to eventually reach as a national language, and but currently we are using English as our official language.
Only English?
English as a there are 22 languages as official, but we are
There are 22 official languages.
sir. I'm being confused.
Okay,
So I'm getting confused.
right. So, in Uttar Pradesh, there is this disparity between the development of Eastern Uttar Pradesh and Western Uttar Pradesh.
Mhm.
What do you think is the major challenge, and what can be done to fix that?
So the major challenge is connectivity, and the second reason is water, especially in the Bundelkhand region. For connectivity, UP is building 4 expressways, and for water, there is Ken Betwa link scheme.
Any other point?
Another issue is organized crime in the eastern UP, and UP government's policy has been very stern towards it.
So, in the month of May and June, we would probably see presidential elections to elect our next honorable president. Can you name any president of India who has his roots from Uttar Pradesh, your state?
Sir, I'm unable to come up with one.
All right. My last question: how, as a taxpayer, you and your family must be paying the taxes. As a taxpayer, how legit for you it is that your money is being utilized to build the religious institutions that you might not be a part of? How do you see that issue? That your money is being used to build institutions of some other religion. Do you agree with that thought?
Sir, in my opinion, there must be equal treatment of religions by the state. And it would not be fair to say that my money is being used for building a particular religion. That is all the money that is coming from the treasury. And so, in a certain way, if that is being used for a particular religion, then I think this is an issue that must be celebrated with the spirit of religious harmony.
Okay, thank you.
Shaurya, we will take you back to the waiting room for a few minutes. We'll call you again for feedback. You can go and just stay for a few minutes outside.
Thank you, sir.
Have a seat, Shaurya. So, Shaurya, first of all, let me ask you, when is your interview?
11th May, sir.
11th of May. Okay, so you still have about 10 days with you. Okay, now this is the first time you'll be appearing at the interview?
Yes, sir.
All right. And how do you think you performed at this interview? Your own views?
Sir, I started rushing. I was not thinking and making sentences.
Hmm.
So I started rushing, and
then?
That's it, sir. I started slow, but then as the interview went along, I started speaking faster and faster,
Hmm.
and I did not make sentences properly. I did not think through the question properly.
Okay, all right. So, Shaurya, first of all, there is no need to be pessimistic or despondent, you are very good. Your answers were very good. So first of all, your knowledge and depth of the knowledge is very good. Your answers, you are right, in the beginning the pace was slow, but you picked up after some time. So the good thing would be that from the very beginning you keep your confidence level high, your pace, intonation, loudness, keep them high so that there is energy in what you say. But otherwise your communication was absolutely fine. Maybe here or there the use of the proper words may not be there, but you were able to communicate yourself well, and the answers were cogent and succinct, not very long, which again is a good thing. So your clarity of thought was there, and you were also having mental alertness. You could also weigh the pros and cons, and more or less you were confident. Last stage you became slightly maybe confused, you were slightly confused, but otherwise let me assure you that your answers, most of them, were right to the point and correct. But having said that, let me now tell you what exactly are the areas where you will need to prepare. And that is only by way of suggestion to you so that you can improve your performance, because this is the first time you are going to appear in an interview. We would definitely like that you should be in the vicinity of about 180, 190 or even 200. Okay. Now, since you belong to the district Hardoi, so naturally lot many questions may come on Uttar Pradesh and Hardoi. So who was the shortest duration chief minister of Uttar Pradesh? Things like that even can be asked. So I am sure you are aware about Jagdambika Pal. He stayed for only 1 day as chief minister of Uttar Pradesh.
24 hours. सुबह तो गद्दी से उतर ही गए.
And here was the only chief minister who has completed 5 years and has again become the chief minister. Now, Uttar Pradesh has got many problems, many strengths also. So a question may come that if you want to sell Uttar Pradesh to a foreigner, how will you sell? What are the things you are going to tell him? So such questions may come. So therefore, you must be aware about the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats. So the problem: agriculture, penury, poverty, education, then tourist spots, agricultural crops, level of irrigation, strategic location, whether it should be trifurcated into 3 parts, such issues will all be there. So you must prepare very well about Uttar Pradesh. Now coming to the subject which you have that you had taken. So your subject were basically your mathematics was there. So National Mathematics Day, Ramanujan, Hardy, and all those things connected with that. Then who discovered zero, what is infinity, if infinity is subtracted from infinity, what will you get, and so on. Such question. If you have to measure the height of a mountain, how will you measure the height of the mountain? Through trigonometry. What is trigonometry? What is algebra? What is mathematics? All these things will happen. What is differential calculus? What is integral calculus? Hydrostatics and so on. So anything connected with mathematics. And then of course the issues connected with your graduate degree. So BTech in biological sciences, we did not ask any questions on that, but there may be certain people who may be expert in those areas. So prepare your subject very well. And Indian Forest Service, yes. Climate change, United Nations institutions who are monitoring, Rio +10, Rio +20, Paris Accord, everything. Then what are the recent recommendations of the IPCC? Then what are the visible changes that are happening on account of climate change, rise in temperature, what is 2 degrees, what is 1.5 degrees, and so on. Rise in sea levels, which country is going to disappear under the sea? The first country. Which country is it? Are you aware?
No, sir.
It is Tuvalu, Tuvalu.
Yes.
Is the first country which will disappear. And India, which are under threat, Sundarbans. Okay?
Yes.
And then the other islands like Maldives are there and so on. So these are the things. Then the weather changes. So these are the climate change. You must understand that. Then coming to the forest cover in India. What is the forest cover? Bhutan, what is the forest cover? How do you compare the two? What are the policies of Bhutan? What is ecological footprint? What is carbon footprint? All these things you will need to prepare. Then coming to some other parts of your DAF. So playing cricket. So different types of ways in which a batsman may be out. There will be at least a dozen. Are you aware about those dozen? You must be prepared. What are different types of balls which are there? So a Yorker and good length, and short ball and a bumper, bouncer, everything about that. What is a no ball and what is a dead ball? What is a short run? All these things connected. And of course IPL and issues connected with BCCI and so on. Listening to why cricket is giving the prominence, football and hockey are not getting that prominence. What can be the reason behind it? One question was asked about the women's cricket. You said gave an answer which was not the right answer.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I realized.
Yeah. So what was the answer which you gave?
So there are structural issues. Firstly, women's cricket is very underinvested in India. Second, there is very limited social support for them. Mostly boys are sent to learn and train in the cricket, not women. And the third is very limited player pool. And for that, that would be so.
Yeah. So there are issues connected with the society. They don't want to send their children, the girls, for practice sessions and for so on. Then there is a promotional, so support in terms of sponsors and other things, and even BCCI. But then you should primarily give your answer on this ground that probably our society is that such that it does not really encourage the women coming into cricket and so on. But you can say that time is changing. You see, always supplemented with something else. The times are changing. We can see more and more girls coming into the sports activity. And therefore, I think in times to come, I'm quite optimistic about it that girls will soon, occupy the same position as they are women. So that is how you will balance the question. Audiobooks and diary writing. Again, there will be maybe certain questions on that also. Then general some questions I'm going to tell you, which just for your preparation. One is that try to understand how the village panchayat works.
Okay, sir.
Sarpanch, Gram Sachiv. Gram Sachiv is the official actor, unofficial actor is the Sarpanch. Then coming to the block level, the BDPO, Block Development Panchayat Officer, he is the official actor, unofficial actor is the
BDO.
Yeah, unofficial.
BDO, Block Development
BDO is the
Officer.
official actor. Unofficial actor will be the Chairman Panchayat Samiti.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Similarly, at Zilla Parishad, it will be CEO Zilla Parishad. Sometimes in some state it is the collector also. Unofficial, it is the Chairman Zilla Parishad. So what are the functions of these institutions? Construction of streets, payment of streets and village ponds and so on. You should know that.
Yes,
It is a kind of a mini government. Similarly, urban local bodies. So the municipalities, municipal commissions, municipal corporations, how the elections are conducted for these. So you will say that State Election Commission is there. So there are two commissions. One is the Central Commission, that is for elections. So you have there, and the other is the state election. So then what are the elections which is conducted by the Election Commission of India? So they are the Assembly and
Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, President, Vice President.
Yeah, correct. So then you should also know the roles of the collector. What are the roles which it does? That is revenue administration, ministerial functions, then coordination between various departments in the districts, and then of course the election. And fifth is the disaster management. Read the constitution very carefully. Article by article, you must read fundamental rights, fundamental duties, preamble, directive principles, state policy, president, prime minister, anything and everything. If you read the Bare Act, you will be able to understand that. Read the criminal procedure code, because there the collector gets the powers. Section 144, 145, 129, 133, they are the powers. What is the difference between a judicial magistrate and an executive magistrate? You should know. IPC, what it's talk about. What is the difference between IPC and CRPC? Again, you should know. So these are some of the things. And lastly, but not the least, public policies. Read the public policies for various sectors. It can be environment. Namami Gange is for pollution in the Ganga. It can be for, for cleanliness, Swachh Bharat. It can be for women, it can be for children, it can be for senior citizens. So understand those laws and public policies.
Yes, sir.
Then, of course, your relations with India, between India and the world.
Yes, sir.
So your neighbors and also the other countries. This is nutshell which you have to prepare, and you can do very well. Your answers are quite to the point, and your communication is more or less fine. Sometimes the choice of words, but then you can practice standing before a mirror for a few hours, and you will be able to come out very well with the choice of correct words and also.
Yes, sir.
So, do you have any questions to ask?
Sir, did I greeted properly? Like,
Yeah. You said good afternoon. That is, if there is a lady member, you can greet her separately. The others you can greet good afternoon, sirs.
And sir, how do I engage all the members?
Yeah. So the question which is asked, you should keep the eye contact with that member. But at the same time, while answering the question, you should also scan all the members so that everyone knows that you are talking to them also. Don't keep on only engaging your eyes with one person. That is how you will keep them engaged. And your voice should be loud, clear, not very fast. Your voice is absolutely fine, and so communication skills are fine. Knowledge, slightly more knowledge will be better. And controversial questions, when they come, give both the sides of them. Never only, and if they persist asking your voice, your views about it, follow the official line. Reservation, Central Vista, corruption, Article 370, surgical strikes, demonetization, they are all issues where there are two sides of the coin. So you always follow the official line. Okay? You will do very well. Don't worry. All the best to you.
Okay. And sir, hand movement.
Yeah, you can keep
fine. इतना ज़्यादा मत सोचो.
Don't be conscious.
हाँ.
Everything
You be
is fine.
yourself and go shave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shave करके
Or you
जाइएगा.
want to grow beard?
Sir, I had beard.
अच्छा. So.
Your photograph shows beard.
Beard.
It's double. No, either grow proper beard
Yes, sir.
or go clean shave.
Yes.
Okay.
थोड़ा सा वॉल्यूम बढ़ाओगे ना, जैसे अभी साहब ने बताया आपको, वॉल्यूम थोड़ा बढ़ाओगे तो उससे बॉडी एनर्जी आती है. इट्स जस्ट नॉट द वॉल्यूम, योर बॉडी लैंग्वेज चेंजेस इमीडिएटली. वॉल्यूम थोड़ा अप रखिए.
So when I increase the volume, I start speaking faster.
चलो वो तो फिर आप प्रैक्टिस करो
चलो फिर
घर
आप
में
देख
बैठ
लो.
के.
Occasional smile will be fine. Occasional. Not, you can't smile always. Occasional smile, because interview is a very serious business otherwise. Take a glass of water before entering, ताकि तो आपका मुंह जो है ना वो wet रहे. And always believe when you enter that here is a challenge which has come to me. I will go and pass this challenge. Remain in that optimistic and positive mode, and you will do that. 20 minutes of that time, think that this is the best, the most important time in my life. I have to do that, and you will come out of it. All the best.
Thanks. Thanks.
See you.
Unacademy. Let's crack it.